Class-2. Welcome to MEG-5 Block 2, Literary Criticism and Theory, and topic is Classical Criticism. It's a very vast topic. As from the very beginning, I have been discussing with you that we have to touch everything in a nutshell, not in detail. Because if we go into the detail, we can't cover up complete all these within this short span. That is 2 hour duration. So we have to touch all these points, all these relevant and pertinent points, but in a nutshell, in short. So today we have to start. That is block 2 topic, uh, classical criticism. At first, so before discussing what is classical criticism and its important features or characteristics, let's understand the meaning of criticism. Let's understand the meaning of criticism. So, what do you mean by criticism? At least we have to know some important lines about that, 5 to 6 lines. Okay. So now just listen, attention please. Uh, Now just I'm going to deal with you meaning of criticism in literature. Meaning of criticism in literature. Criticism in literature is the comparison, analysis, interpretation, or evaluation of works of literature. Again repeating, listen mindfully. Criticism in literature, criticism in literature is the comparison, analysis, interpretation, or evaluation of works of life, of works of literature, of works of literature. Literary criticism is essentially an opinion supported by evidence relating to theme, style, setting, or historical or political context. So that is all about the meaning of criticism. In short, because it may take a lot of time to just give you a detailed idea about that. So needless to know, because within that short span, 2 hour of duration, we have to cover up all these. We'll be in touch with all these important points. So now you just knew the meaning of criticism in literature. So now let's start. As discussions about classical criticism, as right now I am discussing with you classical criticism. So let's start. What is classics? What is classics? So now you knew the meaning of criticism in literature. So now let's know what is classics. Very important. In the classical literary criticism, in the classical literary criticism, the classics are works of fiction like Shakespeare, Jane Austen, Thomas Hardy that are relevant to all ages through all times. Classics are books. Classics are books that have stood the test of time for their relevance, their universal appeal, simplicity, regularity of form, and a sense of beauty and balance. Long before the term literary criticism, long before the term literary criticism came into practice, literary theory existed as far back as 14th century BC. So now let's know the origin of classical theory first. Origin. So now you know the meaning of that classical in literature, the meaning of criticism in literature, then what is classics. So now let's discuss or know the origin of a classical theory first. So step by step, I am dealing with everything step by step, just to make you clear and crystal clear. So now what is the origin of classical theory? Classical theory criticism originated or came from in ancient Greek society. Greek art of thoughtful creation. There are a few very different concepts in our modern ideas. Classical literary criticism, classical literary criticism is simply described as ancient theories and speculations. Ancient theories and speculation. Speculation means guess. Ancient theories and speculations of other ancient thinkers with some respected writers such as Aristotle and Plato, forming the core of a classical literary criticism in ancient times. Remember, these two stalwart persons happen to be the trendsetter and forerunner of a classical criticism. Aristotle and Plato. So they form the core of a classical literary criticism in ancient times. So it was their speculation and thought. So these two, Aristotle and Plato, were the respected writers of classical criticism. The term classical literary criticism, the term classical literary criticism refers to both Greek and Roman civilizations. So we must know the happenings of Greek and Roman civilizations in classical literary criticism. And also later we'll discuss about Aristotle and Plato in today's discussion because they happen to be the most important and reputed personalities of classical criticism. So to say called the founder, the founding father. Classical literary criticism is thought to have existed as long as literature. Classical literary criticism is thought to have existed as long as literature. In the 4th century BC, in the 4th century BC, Plato and Aristotle, these two important writers of thinkers and also writers of classical criticism, were the critics who gave guidelines of a good literature without themselves being creative writers. Plato's attack. Are you listening? Are you listening? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Are you listening?
Yes, sir.
Are you-
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Okay, listen, listen. So these are the important lines. So had it been offline classes, we would have just discussed and I would have asked, you would have taken note of. But online class, so that's why taking pause, I am speaking. So that you can listen it very easily and comfortably. If possible, also you can just keep it in your mind. That's why.
Sir, but I am finding this paper more difficult than MEG 2 and 3.
Yes, 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 yes. So that's more difficult, right?
Hmm.
That MEG 1, 2, 4. So in comparison to other papers, that's a little
Hmm.
bit difficult. Yes. So that's why. So just I've been going through all the critics and extracting some important lines serially. What's the most required uh, things for you? That
So for the
accordingly,
examination, can we do selective study for this paper because not possible to cover up everything.
yes, yes,
Selective
yes,
studies, shall we go for it?
yes, yes.
Sir,
So
after
after
class, provide some notes.
hello.
Sir, after class, provide some notes, please, sir.
I will give, I will also discuss about that. But the most important thing, don't be so worry and sorry. Rather be cherry and merry. Have a patience and confidence because you are not nonsense. You all have a sense. So why becoming so tense? Why becoming so tense? Have a patience and confidence. I will help you to the best of my ability. But after discussing all everything, okay, uh, I will help you. I will help you. I will help you. Okay. Uh, in different forms. Okay, giving you some notes or okay in different ways. I'll try my best to keep it with you. But after the end of the session, the present session, uh, we'll discuss everything. Sure, uh, that is Plato's. Uh, So Aristotle were the critics who gave guidelines. So these two persons, two important persons, Plato and Aristotle. Today also we'll discuss about them. So what does Plato speak? What does Aristotle also speak? Everything we'll discuss. So Plato's truth, uh, everything, and Aristotle's tragedy. So Aristotle were the critics who gave guidelines of good literature without themselves being creative writers. Plato's attack on poetry as imitative. Plato's attack on poetry as imitative, secondary, and false were formative as well. Aristotle wrote the
Please
Poetics.
repeat this line, please. Plato.
Plato's attack on poetry as imitative, secondary, and false were formative as well. Aristotle wrote to Poetics, which developed for the first time to uh, the concepts of mimesis and catharsis. Mimesis, mimesis and catharsis. So catharsis means the process of releasing and thereby providing relief from strong or repressed emotions. Just example, music is a means of catharsis for one and all. Music is a form of catharsis for one and all. And
Sir, what do you
mimesis
mean by
means
catharsis?
catharsis means the process of releasing and thereby providing a relief. Suppose you are in tension, you are in anxiety, you are packed with burdens. As you know, life is full of sorrows and sufferings. So, to give you relief from all these tensions, all these burdens, so you have to just take the help of something. That is, okay, repressed emotions. That is, music is a means of catharsis for one and all. If we are in danger, if we are in a sorrowful moody state, then if you listen music mindfully, so slowly and gradually, everything is going to be diminished. Then mimesis means imitative representation of a real world in art and literature. That is according to Aristotle. Aristotle wrote the Poetics, which develops for the first time the concept of mimesis and catharsis. Mimesis means imitative representation of the real world in art and literature. Imitative representation. And catharsis means that, just now I told you before you, the process of releasing your tension, relief from strong or repressed emotions. Okay. So now we'll come to discuss about Plato first. Plato's statement, everything, Plato's 29 truths, everything. First, I've collected some materials, important points. So, to make you aware of all these, so listen it. Plato was the first. So, now just I'm telling you about Plato. Plato. Some important lines about Plato. Then his thoughts or his statements. Then about Aristotle. Then about Aristotle. So uh, now we have to discuss, that is Plato. Plato was the first ancient philosopher who had given a systematic shape to criticism. Who? Plato. 427 to 347 BC. Plato was the first ancient philosopher had given a systematic shape to criticism. Plato's ideas are expressed in several books. Plato's ideas are expressed in several books. Means he has just written many books, and in all these books, he has expressed his own ideas, own feelings, own sentiments, own thoughts relating to everything. So Plato's ideas are expressed in several books, chief among them being the Dialogue, Ion, Crito, and the Republic. These are the books written by Plato. So now, theory of forms. Theory of forms. It is the first thought of Plato, also called the realm of ideas. Realm means a domain. Realm means a domain, area, or field. Field. Theory of forms, also called realm of ideas or realm of ideals. Realm means that is domain or area of ideas. Plato's philosophy asserts that, means makes us sure that there are two realms, means there are two domains, two areas or two fields, the physical realm and the spiritual realm. The physical realm and the spiritual realm. The spiritual realm exists beyond the physical realm. The spiritual realm exists beyond the physical realm. Plato's theory of forms, that is Plato's theory, that is Plato's theory, what we call Plato's writing, theory of forms, is only a shadow or image of the true reality of the realm of forms. So now Plato's attack on poetry. Plato's attack on poetry. Plato had severely attacked poetry in different forms.
So Plato was not in favor of poetry. So was Plato not in favor of poetry?
Hello, hello, just I'm speaking. Okay. Hello. Hello. So, uh, so in his opinion, poetry or art in general is a copy of a copy. So now I'm discussing with you Plato's attack on poetry. Plato's attack on poetry, or he was in favor of poetry. In his opinion, poetry or art in general is a copy of a copy. In his opinion, poetry or art in general is a copy of a copy. It is twice removed from reality. Twice removed from reality. The creation of poets and artists, the creation of poets and artists being mere copies of ideal reality. Do you get me understand? Mere copies means twice removed from reality as per Plato. Ideal reality are distortions of truth, valueless and indeed potentially misleading. And indeed potentially misleading. The example he actually uses, the example he actually uses is of a bed, is of a bed. God created the idea of the bed. God created the idea of a bed. The carpenter creates an actual bed from his imperfect perfection of the idea. Imperfect perfection because God created. And the man who is going to just make that has to apply his brain and talent of that imperfect idea. And now he has to
So
become a
can you
perfect one,
please,
the man.
so can you please repeat this point as it is not very clear?
Uh, so now Plato is speaking, God created the bed. God created the bed. So it's an imperfect idea.
Sir,
Okay,
God created bad, BAD,
bed,
bed.
bed. Okay, on
Okay,
which you sleep, on which you sleep.
okay.
God created the idea of the bed, but the carpenter creates an actual bed from his imperfect perfection of the idea. The poet or artist only produces the poet or artist or the poets or artist only produces a superficial imitation. Who, according to Plato? Plato is speaking as because now we are discussing Plato's attack on poetry. Means he is not in favor of poetry. Who? Plato. Uh, the poet or artist only produces a superficial imitation that is called mimesis. Mimesis, as earlier I told you, that imitative representation of a real world in art and literature. Imitative representation of a of the or of the real world in art and literature. Imitative representation. Okay. Supposition. That's your supposition or speculation. Supposition or speculation. So am I audible? Am I audible to you? Are you able to
Yes, sir.
listen?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes. Because you show online class and so that's a lot of problems may arise at the time of speaking and everything that will come on our path. So what to do? Uh, well, so that's a superficial imitation that is called mimesis of the carpenter's bed. For Plato, the highest truth is strict. Strict. For Plato, the highest truth is strict, mathematical, intellectual, For Plato, the highest truth is strict, mathematical, intellectual. Poetry does not poetry does not deal in such truth and may distract us from truth. Because Plato speaks, because poetry is an imitation, mimesis, and catharsis.
Sir,
So,
poetry does not.
poetry cannot be poetry, Plato speaks, poetry cannot deal in such a truth. Which truth? Poetry cannot be mathematical, intellectual, or strict, up to date. So it's, as you know, poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings collected in tranquility. Spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. The poet sits at a lonely place, thinks or goes on thinking, and after that, uh, writing, just understanding or feeling the flora and fauna of nature. Okay, so it has no that value. As according to Plato, Plato speaks all these things are valueless, misleading, misleading. It it does not pave the way for truth, pave the way for success. Sure, for Plato, uh, poets depend on inspiration, which is a form of madness instead of a reason and knowledge. Understand? So that's Plato speaking. Again, I'm repeating. Again, I'm repeating for your clear cut understanding. For Plato, poets depend on inspiration. Inspiration because they're inspired by the nature. Just sit in a lonely place and just meditate, think. Then after, write or go on writing. Sure, poets depend on inspiration, which is a form of madness, which is a form of madness instead of a reason and knowledge. Means according to Plato, uh, uh, poetry has no reasoning power and no knowledge. Means a poet has no reason and knowledge. He is not so knowledgeable, just like a mathematician and belonging to other fields. Okay, sure. That because it distracts us from truth. According to Plato, poetry may distract us from truth. So that's why he speaks. Uh, so it's a form of madness instead of reason and knowledge. Plato suggests that Plato suggests that poets are liars. Understand the particular word Plato is speaking. How offensive and heartrending. Actually, that word is heartrending for the poet, the so-called today's poets. That's a thought provoking also. Heartrending, thought provoking, and you may use any other word as you like, adjectives. So, uh, Plato suggests that poets are liars, liars, liars. In Homer's epics, the Iliad and Odyssey, for example, the gods lie and cheat and are one of the main causes of suffering among humans. Plato speaking. So in Homer's epics, uh, Iliad and Odyssey, for For example, the gods lie. Lie means speak lie. The gods speak lie, and the cheat means hoodwink. Cheats means hoodwink, or deceive. Cheats means deceive. The gods speak lie and deceive, and are one of the main causes of suffering among humans. Plato is speaking. Even the mortals, that is human beings, even the mortals, that is human beings, in these works still complain and hate each other. Still complain and hate each other. Such writings argues Plato set a bad example for Greek citizens because they belong to Greek. They belong to Greek. So, so when Plato told all these or gave all these statements or opinions, so it created havoc in the field of literature as well as among the uh, critics of that time or literary figures of that time. So that complain and hate each other. Such writings argues Plato set a bad example for Greek citizens and may lead people down paths of wickedness and immorality, and may lead people down paths of wickedness and immorality. So now we have to discuss, as you know, that Plato and Aristotle in Greece, because in Greece shaped the core of classical literary criticism in ancient period. These two persons, these two writers belonging to Greek, shaped the core of classical literary criticism in ancient period. So now also we have not completed the activities of Plato. Still miles to go and miles to go before we sleep. Also some more lines that we have to collect or gather about Plato. So now that is Plato's definition of truth. Plato's definition of truth. Because Plato told uh, poetry indeed uh, dis, distorts truth, or it distracts us from truth. It is valueless and misleading. So now again Plato is giving some more examples about truth. So now, as you know that Plato was an Athenian philosopher who was a student of Socrates. Plato was the student of Socrates and the teacher of Aristotle. Aristotle was the disciple of Plato, or Plato's student, and Plato was the student of Socrates and teacher of Aristotle. As he had a uh, deep inclination towards mathematics, so he is becoming much more mathematical. So he took interest and ideas from mathematics. Plato took interest or showed his keen interest or intense interest in mathematics and political theory. So took ideas from mathematics to political theory. His effect on philosophy and the nature of human beings has spread far and wide over this era. Here we may just quote 29 truths, 29 truths of Plato, 29 quotes on knowledge and learning from the father of Western philosophy, from the father of Western philosophy, Plato. As you know, he is an Athenian philosopher because Athens is coming under Greece. Okay. Sure, that is from the father of Western philosophy. Now just listen, what are the 29 quotes or truths of Plato? So the number one, Plato speaks, the Plato's truth, Plato's definition of truth, the idea of truth. We can easily forgive a child, we can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. Understand? You get me? That what Plato speaks. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. Understand? This is what Plato speaks. Then second truth, a good decision, a good decision is based on knowledge. A good decision is based on knowledge and not on numbers. Plato speaks. Then three, thinking, the talking of the soul with itself. Thinking means whenever you are thinking means you are talking with your soul. We are talking with your soul. The soul is inside and just we are asking questions to your soul. But according to Plato,
Sir,
thinking,
sir, definition
thinking,
of truth according to Plato. Please repeat this line, sir. Network issue.
that is number one truth is one. So 29, Plato had just given 29 truths. So here are the 29 quotes on knowledge and learning from the Western of father of Western philosophy. The number one, we can easily forgive a child. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. So that is the real tragedy. Real tragedy. When you are afraid of the light, or when light comes, that darkness vanishes. Vanishes means you must be happy because darkness is the a symbol of oppression, suppression. So when our light comes, you have to be happy. If a man is not becoming happy at the advent of light, means he is he is That a bad one. So that is his real tragedy. So the real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. Then a good decision is based on knowledge and not on numbers. A good decision is based on knowledge, not on numbers. So many persons are there. If you just ask them, so they have to speak using their knowledge, using their applying their talent, applying their knowledge. So the final decision will come, not on numbers, according to Plato. Then three, thinking the talking of the soul with itself. Then four, there is no harm in repeating a good thing. That is truth number four. Truth number four. There is no harm in
Second truth ଟା କଣ
repeating.
କହିଲେ?
Hello.
What is the second truth?
Second, a good decision is based on knowledge. A good decision is based on knowledge and not on numbers. Second truth. Third truth, thinking the talking of the soul with itself. Thinking the talking of the soul with itself. Then, fourth truth, there is no harm in repeating a good thing. There is no harm. Hello?
There is no କଣ କହୁଛନ୍ତି?
There is no harm in repeating a good thing. There is no harm in repeating a good thing. There is no harm in repeating a good thing. Then, are you able to listen? Are you listening or not?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes. Then, that is truth number five. Truth is the beginning of every good to the gods. Truth is the beginning of every good to the gods. And of every good to man. If you become truthful, so God will be that good to and man also will be good to you. All will be good. Okay, all will be happy on you. All will be also glad. So that is truth is the beginning of every good to the gods and of every good to man. Then truth number six, knowledge without justice, knowledge without justice ought to be called cunning rather than wisdom. Understand? Knowledge without justice, knowledge without justice ought to be called cunning. Means without sense knowledge, you are just trying to show up. Means it's your cunning. It's your cunning. So ought to be called cunning rather than wisdom. Knowledge means wisdom. If you have no wisdom, no knowledge, so try to show up. So it's nothing rather cunning. Then Truth number 7, the first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. To be conquered by yourself is of all things most simple and vile. The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself at first. At first, you have to know yourself. Who are you or who am I? Or how can you tackle all these difficulties or hardships? What will be the solution of all these problems? That you have to be at first aware of all the solutions. So that is the greatest victory. The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. To be conquered by yourself is of all things most simple and vile. Just wait 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. So, mm, so already I had completed eight truths. Yes or no? Eight truths. So, truth number nine.
So seven true. Last the seventh true. I think.
Seven, eight. No, truth number eight. Wealth and poverty. Wealth and poverty. Wealth and poverty. One is the parent of luxury and indolence. Remember, very important truth of Plato. Wealth and poverty. One is the parent of luxury. What? Wealth. Understand? Do you get it or not? Understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Wealth. It is the parent of luxury. And poverty is the parent of indolence. Because if you become idle, if you idle away your time, never work hard or go outside to do some works just to earn a handful of rice. So you have to suffer for that. You will be victimized by the so-called uh, circumstances. As you know that life is full of ups and downs. Life is full of odds and oddities. So in the midst of all these sorrows and sufferings, we have to have patience and confidence. Means we have to do something in order to fulfill your belly or stomach. Means we have to work hard. I mean to say you have to work hard, do something. So that is called wealth and poverty. One is parent of luxury and indolence, and the other luxury and indolence, and the other of meanness and viciousness, and both of discontent. Wealth is the parent of luxury and indolence, and poverty is the parent of so other of meanness and viciousness, and both of discontent. Means both will dissatisfy you if you because okay because both are the end pave the way of on success. You can be successful if you lead a life of luxury and indolence, meanness, viciousness. So all these are mm, called discontent. It will dissatisfy you. Then 10, truth number 11, sorry, 10, no, no, 9,
Sir,
truth number
nine.
9, 9,
Nine.
and an empty vessel makes the loudest sound. And empty vessel makes the loudest sound. As you know, empty vessel sounds much. So that's a proverb. So also here, an empty vessel makes the loudest sound. So that they have the least wit are the greatest babblers. An empty vessel makes the loudest sound. So that they have the least wit are the greatest babblers. Then 10. Opinion is the medium between knowledge and ignorance. Opinion, opinion is the opinion is the opinion is the medium between knowledge and ignorance. Then truth number 11. If a man neglects education, if a man neglects
Sir, 10th and repeat please.
opinion is the medium between knowledge and ignorance. Opinion is the medium between knowledge and ignorance. Then 11, truth number 11. If a man neglects education, if a man neglects education, he walks lame to the end of his life. Understand? That is truth number 11. If a man neglects education, actually all these statements are very useful, very important for one and all, or in every field sphere of our activity. Yes or no? All these statements stated by Plato is very, very important. Very, very important. If a man neglects education, if a man neglects education, he walks to the end of his life. He walks lame to the end of his life. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So Plato is 100% right. That's why he attacks poetry. So it's only mere an imitation of art and literature. It is valueless. Plato speaks poetry is valueless. It distorts truth. It shows the wrong path to truth. It is actually misleading. So all these words are told by Plato against poetry. So now that is truth number 12. All men are by natural equal. Are by nature. All men are by nature equal. All men, because all have the same flesh and blood, two eyes, two hands, everything. The body organs all have possessed the same. No change, nothing. So all men are by nature equal, made of all the same earth by one workman. Made of all the same earth by one workman. Who? God. God has made this world. God is the Almighty, omnipotent, omniscient, and omniscient. Well, so next, 13, truth number 13. Books give a soul to the universe. Books give a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and a life to everything. Again, I am repeating this, very important. Very important. Listen mindfully. Books give a soul to the universe. Books give a soul to the universe. Wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and a life to everything. Oh, only books. Because only by going through books or reading books, we can know everything. We can gain everything. Not lose, rather we can gain. But not losing, rather gaining. If we have books, we are gaining, not losing from any standpoint, so to say. The next, that is 13. 13. Number 13. The measure of a man is what he does. The measure, MEASURE, The measure of a man is what he does with power. The measure of a man is what he does with power. Then 15, 2015. The direction in which the direction in which education starts, the direction in which education starts, a man will determine his future in life. So, if you are interested to opt for engineering, you will just go for that, take admission in that. If you take interest in medical lines, so you will go for that. Means you will purchase books, you will try to know many things about all these things. Okay, you will take interest for that line. So, education. That means the direction in which education starts, a man will determine his future in life. Okay, so your future uh, that will be done accordingly, or you will get a life accordingly as per your education. You will get your real status as per your education. Then 16, truth number 16. Opinion is the medium between knowledge and ignorance. Opinion is the medium between knowledge and ignorance.
Sir,
Then,
this point has over, sir.
so okay, we have already told that. Again, I'm repeating. Okay, so 17. Wise men speak because wise men speak. Wise men speak because they have something to say. Fools because they have to say something. Again, listen. Wise men speak. Wise men speak because they have something to say. Something to say. Fools because they have to say something. Understand? Understand?
Sir, fools they have.
Fools because they have to say something. Wise men means they have something to say. Means they have already uh, planned or taken a decision or decided. Okay. So based on their previous thought, previous ideas, previous planning, they are speaking very carefully and wisely. But the fools never takes care of all this. What came all on a sudden, they spoke, whether it may be good or bad, whether it may be praised or reprimanded. Well, okay, sure. Next, 18. Do not train a child, train, do not train a child, TRAIN, train, to learn by force or harshness. Means do not advise a child or that give training. Train means give training. Do not train a child to learn by force or harshness. Learn by force or harshness, but direct them to eat by what amuses their mind, but teach them to eat by what amuses their minds, so that you may be better able to discover with accuracy the peculiar bent of the genius of each. The 19. So we'll discuss about 20, then after we'll switch over to the next discussion. That
16 ପଏଣ୍ଟ ଟା କଣ କହିଲେ? 16 ପଏଣ୍ଟ ଟା ତ ରିପିଟ୍ ହେଇଯାଇଛି। Sir,
ହଁ ହଁ
ଆପଣ 16 ଟା କହିଲେ origin
okay you
opinion
okay
between medium
you
knowledge and ignorance.
okay we have already repeated, you think it as 15 okay, you take it at 15, and now just I am telling you that's 18, you take it as 17. Okay, you take it as take it as 17. So now just I
Yes,
am discussing with you 18.
yes, sir. Yes.
18. So bodily exercise when compulsory, bodily exercise when compulsory does no harm to the body. Remember, bodily exercise when compulsory does no harm to body, but knowledge which is acquired under compulsion, but knowledge which is acquired under compulsion obtains no hold to the mind. Obtains no hold on the mind. Then next, ideas are the source of all things. Ideas are the source of all things. Then 20. When two friends like you and me, when two friends like you and me are in mood to chat, when two friends like you and me are in the mood to chat,
Sir, move to what?
chat, CSAT, chat means just a discussion, discussion, whisper, have a, we usually speak, have a chit chat, have a chit chat. So they show the mood to chat, when discuss, talk. We have to go about in a gentler and more gentler and more dialectical way. So by more dialectical, I mean not only that we give real responses, but that we base our responses solely on what the interculator admits that he himself knows. Okay, so many other 8 to 9 tools are there. So time taking. So we'll go to discuss the next. So Plato's definition of truth you knew. Now that is
Sir, please tell this next other 9 truth of Plato.
okay. We'll discuss other things are there. Okay. Now you see 25 to 30 minutes are left. Complete. Uh,
Okay, sir.
okay. So now some other more lines. Uh, so see now what are the approaches of classical criticism? What are the approaches of classical criticism? approaches of classical criticism. Classical literary criticism. So the first approach is formalist criticism. Formalist opposed in line with its text because the definition explains all other considerations are irrelevant. Formal criticism is placed in the formal criticism is placed in the institution. Formal criticism is placed in the institution because it focuses on the text and not on any external factors such as the author, the real world, viewers, or other books. Then historical criticism, then intertextual criticism, then mimetic criticism, then psychological criticism. So we have this one, two, three, four, five approaches of classical literary criticism. That is historical criticism. In this view, the work is given the author's belief, prejudices, time and history. And in order to fully understand the work, we must we must understand the author and his age. Historical criticism relies heavily on the author and on his world. Okay, historical criticism relies heavily on the author, but formalist criticism relies heavily on the text and not on any external factors. Such as you just see this is the difference. This is the difference between formalist criticism and historical criticism. Formalist criticism relies heavily on the text, and not on any external factors such as the author, the real world, viewers, or other books. But historical criticism relies heavily on the author and on his world. This is the difference. It doesn't deal with the world, the viewers, and other books, but historical criticism deals with the author and on his world. Then intertextual criticism. Then intertextual criticism. Inter means that between text. That intertextual criticism. Criticism between text. Intertextual means criticism between texts. Is concerned with comparing the work in question with the other texts. Intertextual criticism means criticism between texts is concerned with comparing the work in question with other texts. Get a broader picture, one can compare a piece of work with another of the same author. Okay, so here the same author. One can compare a piece of work with another of the same author, the same movement of text, or the same historical background. Everything same. Between the text, everything same. Means we have to compare the work in question with other text to get a broader picture. One can compare a piece of work with another of the same author, the same movement, of texts or the same historical background. Everything same. Then mimetic criticism. As a little mimetic means that imitation of art and literature. Mimetic criticism seeks to see how the work fits into the world. How the work fits into the world. Mimetic criticism seeks to see how the work fits into the world, how a piece of literature conveys the truth accurately, how a piece of literature conveys the truth accurately is the main argument for this style of writing. That is called mimetic criticism. Then psychological criticism. It attempts to define the moral foundations of the characters in the middle of the selection. Means it attempts to define the moral foundations. Psychology means based on mind. Psychology. Psychology based on the mind. So moral foundations of the characters in the middle of the selection to analyze the actions and the thoughts that have been made to fall under any senses that can be identified, even if psychological disturbances are detected among them. Okay, so this was all about that the approaches of classical criticism.
Sir, what is the meaning of mimetic criticism? Please repeat this line.
Mimetic criticism means that it seeks to see how the work fits in the world. Means we have to just imitate everything from the world. We have to bring everything from the world because mimetic means an imitation of world art and literature. How a piece of literature conveys the truth, how a piece of literature conveys the truth accurately is the main argument for this style of writing. So now,
Please tell me which page now discussion. Hello.
okay. So that is hello. Now, just I am going to discuss importance of music in theater. That is also coming under this classical criticism. That's very important question. Importance of music in theater. Okay, importance of music in theater. That is called. So it is a short question. It is a short question. Also, Plato's definition of truth is a short question. That's the right 10 Plato's definition on truth, or 15. And importance of music in theater is also a short question. Application of music in theater, or importance of music in theater. Theater. Just I'm taking some water now. Okay. Sure. That is a short question. Importance of music in theater. Then we have to go to discuss Aristotle. So importance of music in theater, how music plays a very important role in theater. Just we are discussing it. Since the days of ancient Greece, since the days of ancient Greece, because you see in all these items that uh, mm, discussions, we have some long questions as well as short questions. As in the previous discussion, that is on the very first day, at the very outset, I discussed with you an introduction of that is block 1 of MEG-5, that the block 1 is an introduction. So I discussed with some important short questions. What's on Dhoni? That is Spota theory and Alamkar or Alankar theory. Okay, Spota, Dhoni, Alankar, all these are called short questions, short notes. So also here in this, so this is the short question: importance of music in theater. Since the days of since since the days of an ancient Greece, music has been an integral part of theater. It is used to set the mood, create atmosphere, and provide a relief from the spoken word. Because whenever, because you see, which one is much more appealing and heart touching, poetry or poem? Sorry, poem or prose? Poem, because poem just gives you a new idea, new thought, new sensation. It thrills your body, but prose is quite uh, boring. Poetry is interesting. Or poem is interesting, but prose is boring, as it is prosaic. Prose is quite prosaic, just a storytelling method. But poetry is just in a musical sense. Someone will be singing, and other that singing instruments will be played by some other persons. They might be playing some musical instruments. So it will add uh, to the glamour of our hearing and many things. So it is used to see the mood, sorry, to set the mood, create atmosphere, and provide relief and provide relief, relief,
Sir,
R-E-L-I-E-F.
sir, please
No,
tell me the page number.
no, no, page number what? A page nothing. I don't know, page nothing.
Okay, sir.
Uh, okay, I have extracted some lines and also speaking something of my own. So no page number, nothing. So since the days of ancient, so that's importance of music. Question is importance of music in theater. It is a short question. It is a short question. Since the days of ancient Greece, music has been an integral part of theater. It is used to set the mood, create atmosphere, and provide relief from the spoken word. In some cases, it is used to further it is used to further the plot or develop the characters. In others, it is used simply to entertain the audience and others. Oh, music entertains the audience. Music entertains the audience. So there are many reasons why music is so important in the theater. There are many reasons why music is so important in theater. All the people, why all the people like to listen to the music? So there are many reasons why music is so important in theater. Theater, first and foremost, first and foremost, it helps to create an immersive experience for the audience. It can transport them to another time and place. It can transport them to another time and place and make them feel like they are part of the action on stage and make them feel like they are part of the action on stage. Additionally, additionally, music can help to set the tone of a production. Additionally, music can help to set the tone of a production and can be used to heighten the emotional impact of a scene. Music also can be used to heighten the emotional impact of a scene. If uh, emotional,
What,
if
sir,
we pay emotion, hello,
what is the reason behind it in the criticism part of music in theater, sir?
because music entertains us. Music all the time entertains us. It takes away our
Wha- wha-
sorrows and sufferings.
Sir, what is the role in criticism, sir? It is in the theater part.
Theater, because you see, if theater only just one comes and sits just to know storytelling method, prosaic. If theater becomes very simple, if theater becomes prosaic, understand only storytelling. No rhythm is there, no music is there, no dance is there. So it can attract the audience. So the first thing is to only to attract the audience, music is created. So that's why music has been an integral part of the theater. Music, integral part. Remember, without music, we cannot. think of any theater. Theater means film. So it entertains the audience. So first and foremost, it helps to create an immersive experience of the audience. It can transport them to another time and place and make them feel like they're part of the action on stage. Additionally, music can help to set the tone of a production and can be used to heighten the emotional impact of a scene. Emotional impact. Suppose an emotional scene is going on. If no music is there, no musical instruments are there, no song is there, so it can't add the beauty of that. So it's an additional beauty. Music is an additional beauty. It's an ornament to the theater. Just like a lady, a woman donning ornaments looks very beautiful. So also, if music is there, so theater also will be much more demanding. People will like and also listen it or see it. Finally, music is a powerful tool for storytelling. Okay, so without music, we cannot think of any stories. If without music we go on speaking stories for a long time, so it will be boring. It will not attract the audience or the listeners. So music is a powerful tool for storytelling. It can be used to convey the inner thoughts and feelings of the characters. Music, music. Sorry, just line went out now. What's to do now? Power cut off. Line went out. So no any other translate anything. Just wait 2 to 3 minutes. Brother, there is now dark. First I'm going and bringing charge lights. Okay. How can you go in the darkness? Darkness prevails everywhere. Okay, I'm trying to bring some light. Light has gone out. Okay, I brought light now. Charger. So it can be used to convey the inner thoughts and feelings of characters. But music. Music can be used to convey the inner thoughts and feelings of characters and can help to bring the world in the play to life. For all of these reasons, music is an essential part of the theatre. Understand? So now you got the answer of your query that why music is so important, or what are the reasons that we consider music as an integral part of the theatre. Integral part of the theatre because of all these reasons. These are the reasons for which music is very, very important. So, music they believe who? Music some that musicians believe. Music they believe comes closest to expressing inexpressibleness when composed meaningfully. The beauty of a composing music for a stage, the beauty of a composing a music, the beauty of a composing music for a stage is that it is like scoring a living film. It is immersive and it varies from one night to the next. Next, one night to the next.
Sir, please repeat this line.
Music, the beauty of composing music for a stage is that it is like scoring a living film. It is immersive and it varies from one night to the text. The musicality of Shakespeare's verse is what makes it particularly inspiring to compose for him. Okay, there are many lines about music, but I only told you some important lines. The essential part of why music is an essential part of theatre. 5 to 6 lines, the previous lines. So it's time to now leave. Take just time to now quit. So again, because you see, still it is not complete. So to make it complete, I will provide you some notes at the end of the all discussions. At the end of this session, so I will help you. What's required? Okay, because again we have to know something about Aristotle, everything. But we discussed everything, almost 80 to 90 important parts of classical criticism. Okay, so in classical criticism we come across two: Plato and Aristotle. Plato and Aristotle. Only Aristotle's theory of tragedy, that's important. I'll provide you note. Aristotle's theory of tragedy. Okay. Aristotle's theory of tragedy. That's the uh, first and last about Aristotle. You may come across question in this way. Discuss Aristotle's theory of tragedy. That's or Aristotle's view of tragedy. Okay. So I will provide you all this what I told in form of notes. Okay. Bye again. Next class will start tomorrow this time and another with another new topic. Okay.
So tomorrow, Aristotle theory tragedy.
No. Another new topic because each day we have to cover up one block. Aristotle tragedy